to Janelli. This is our October update here with Michael P. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing good. The weather's starting to change.
Are you recovered from the move?
Not totally. To any of the clients I work with, I apologize for a little longer lead times, but we did move last week. At the time this video will air, it'll be about 2 weeks since we've moved, and we're settling in here at 11019 McCormick Road. We're suite 200, so when you come to the building, you go up to the second floor. And we're loving our new space. We are hit with some of the stuff we'll talk about in our market update, which is supply chain shortages. We still, at the time I'm shooting this, we don't have any interior doors.
Right.
So we're only hosting one client in the office at a time since we can't close the conference room door.
But those are coming in soon.
Those are coming in soon. Hopefully right, a week or two after this video comes out. And if you do visit our Hunt Valley office, one thing to keep in mind is there's a call box now instead of a human being sitting down there. So you just got to walk up to the call box and tap on it and click, call Financial Consulate for the door to get unlocked.
So it's 11019 McCormick Road, right across from Point Breeze Credit Union, right?
Yep.
And right beside the Royal Farm.
We got the post office and then the Royal Farm store.
Right. Yeah, but it's near the Royal Farm
very close.
Post office on our side. And Point Breeze is right across the street. We had to go to bigger offices, even though we have people working from home still occasionally.
Yeah.
We're growing to the point that we needed larger offices, and we also felt it was a better office facility. And this one seems like a place we're going to live, right?
Yeah, I hope that, so I deal with the moves every time we move, and I never want to do that again.
Never want to do it again.
We'll keep growing, and we'll grow here, hopefully.
You're also looking to do something on this building that'll make it such that you don't want to leave there again.
Absolutely. We had a really positive negotiation with the building owner, so it'll be a little easier to find us when you come to visit us. After the building finishes getting its repaint job, it is going to have a beautiful Financial Consulate sign across the top of the building, all lit up nice at night.
There you go. So there's no reason to ever leave again.
Nope. Sounds good to me.
Unless you want to come down to Amelia Island and form a new little office down here, other than my office that I currently work out of. So anyway, that's great. Good job on that. Let's talk about the markets. Markets are, they had a little rough patch in September, but for the most part have recovered and moving along.
Yeah, a little bit of volatility, but at the time we are shooting this, things have kind of recovered a little bit. The big market news would just be the very recent uptick in interest rates. The 10-year Treasury has moved from 1.3 to 1.5. That may sound like, well, that's not very much, but it's a 15% move in a 5-day period. So that's something that we're going to watch out for. Drew can comment on this, but what does that mean? Well, when interest rates are going up like that, it's a sign that the economy is expected to grow.
Right.
But the economy is the economy, and how the market reacts to that could be different.
Right. And also that 10-year Treasury is the one that affects mortgage rates more than anything. So if you haven't locked in these new low mortgage rates, now's a good time to be looking at doing that. So keep that in mind. Because we don't know how much the 10-year Treasury is going to move. Is it going to go up and keep going, or is it just going to make that little zigzag seesaw motion? Yeah. So what other economic indicators are happening out there, Michael?
Well, just speaking about those rates, there is an expectation that the Federal Reserve is going to begin to raise rates over time. So Drew's advice remains very true, but it'll happen when we see it happen. They change their mind frequently, so we don't know. But some other big questions that are out there is there's a major tax bill in the works at the time we're shooting this. Market could have a reaction to that, as well as supply chain issues that continue to hit the market. For instance, as I said before, Our new office that we've moved into does not have any interior doors because we couldn't get any. Hopefully, we'll get those next month. But I believe I saw, Drew, there's 70 ships sitting outside of California that are just in a backup waiting to unload, and there's 12 or 13 right here in the Chesapeake Bay. So things are starting to flow, but the supply chain is having a massive surge put on it. U.S. consumer spending has, been really, really high.
Yeah. But you made a good point earlier. Also, you mentioned that this current Congress and administration are trying to change tax laws again and increase taxes on corporations, on people who are making more than a couple $100,000, people who are capital gains and things of this sort.
State
These are
tax.
things we're watching and monitoring. But I don't like to fill people's minds with a lot of stuff that's just being proposed. If I think it's passed or it's going to be passed, I'll let you know and we'll tell you what we're going to do about it. But don't worry about it. It's what I'm going to say right now.
Right.
Don't worry about it. And most people, it's not going to affect a lot of people. A lot of our clients aren't going to be affected.
Right. So Drew, you had a timely reminder for our clients about Medicare.
Medicare Part D time for reviewing your drugs that you're taking. Because here's the thing, Medicare D, Mike, is about the drug plans, right? It's your prescription, okay? And you have a company that reimburses you for your prescription. So you go in and get a prescription and it costs you $10 or it costs you $20 or it costs you $50, whatever. And you're used to that. And it's, but here's the thing is that every year, every drug plan company has the right to change every single prescription as to what they're going to reimburse and how they're going to reimburse it. It's called their formulary. Formulary, okay? It's a very important word, formulary. And if you don't go in and say, these are the drugs I'm taking, and this is how frequent I take it. If you don't go in every year in October or November, that's the time you can make your change and say, these are my prescriptions. How does it line up with their new formulary? You could get a heck of a surprise next year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very timely reminder. Make sure you stay up on that.
And there are lots of different ways to, if you need help doing this, you can always contact your local SHIP, Senior Health Insurance Plan. Most every county in Maryland for sure, and most counties throughout the United States of America have a senior health insurance program where they'll do it with you. Or you can just go online and do it yourself. Or if you really need help, you want to talk to us, one of us can help you walk through it too if you want to. So make sure you check your formulary. Very important word.
Very good, especially if your medications are changing as well as just
That's a good point too, Mike. If your prescriptions you added some, you definitely want to check your formulary, but you should do it regardless.
Yep, absolutely. So the other topic, Drew, we wanted to talk about is debt. When to use it.
I don't like that, Mike.
You don't like debt?
No, but I use it.
Right, leverage.
You use it wisely,
Yeah. So some of the common considerations is the debt being used to purchase something that's appreciating or depreciating? In some cases, you may not have a choice. You need a car. You don't have enough money to buy the car. The car gets you to work. It's the necessary choice. But what we're talking about is when you have a choice, to use cash or use debt. How do you look at that? And a lot of times it has to do with the cost of the debt. And as Drew was pointing out when we were reviewing what to talk about today, how comfortable you are with leverage.
Yeah. But, even if you're not comfortable with it, there are times, Mike, that you need to logically consider using leverage. Okay. For example, I don't like debt. I like to be debt free. But when I bought this house in Florida, I could have paid for it in cash. I chose not to. Why? Well, because they're crazy enough to give me a 2.5% 30-year fixed rate mortgage. After my taxes, deductions on that, we're talking about maybe a 1.5% cost of money. One
Effectively.
and a half percent cost of money for 30 years. Um, you know, that's pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's probably a good time for us to point out, as you were saying, Drew, is that we always have to be very careful when we're advising on debt because, certainly there's an economic bias for the financial advisor to say, hey, keep all your money in your account and go borrow more money if you need something.
That's
Uh,
true.
but
As
there
fiduciaries, we can't do that.
as fiduciaries, we cannot do that. And as fiduciaries, we have to say like, hey, there's potential bias there. But, we hopefully all of our clients are familiar with our level of integrity, and that's why we're bringing that up. But yeah, like Drew said, there are times when it may make sense to take the, I mean, I bought
I'll
a,
give you another one, Mike. When I bought my wife's car from Subaru last year, right in the heat of the pandemic, they were offering, I could negotiate the price of the car and they still gave me 0% financing.
that was the example
So
I was going to give.
I got a great price on the car and I got 0% financing. They want to give me 0% financing. I think I got it for 4 or 5 years. I'm going to take it. I hate making that payment every month, but it was free money and there's no risk. A lot of times people take those 0% loans out, Mike. And if
Mhm.
you miss a payment, all of a sudden, like you owe 28% or whatever, retroactive to day one.
Right. Well, actually, Drew, that's a great example to separate the 0% car loan or asset loan from the 0% credit card, which
Right.
is one of those schemes.
Because the 0% car loan, worst that's going to happen is you're going to get a late fee for 1 month if you don't make that payment up. And every month you keep missing a payment, you're going to get a late fee, but you're not going to get a retroactive interest rate back to 28%. I don't like those 0% loans that are like that. You make a mistake and it costs you dearly.
So that really ties in well with one of the other considerations when deciding to use leverage or not, which is liquidity. You need to look at, well, maybe you could take your cash out and buy whatever the thing is, but then how much cash do you have available? How liquid are you? And sometimes, like with what Drew's talking about, you may just say, well, it's not that I'm going to take that car's value and leave it in the market. I'm going to leave it in my savings account. But now you have more liquidity than you would have without it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we sort of contradict ourselves when we say we don't like debt, but then we tell all of our clients to have a home equity credit line, you
Right.
know,
But we don't
and
tell them to use it.
we don't tell them to use it. We just want them to have it approved so that if there's ever an emergency need or a reason to have it or use it, it's already approved. Because if you need that line of credit in the future, chances are there's something going on that they're not going to give it to you.
Right.
So you get approved for the home equity credit line when you don't need it and you have it available and you hide it away. But I don't want you to use it unless we absolutely say that's the best tool to use. It's a tool in the tool belt, right, Mike?
Another tool in the tool belt.
And we like tool belts.
We like tool belts.
You definitely like tool belts. You're a hardworking man.
My tools, I'm going to have to create an estate plan for what my wife's going to do with my tools when I go.
Any other topics we were going to talk about?
No, that's it for October. I hope everybody has a happy Halloween.
Yeah, well, one thing I want to say is that, I'm down here in Amelia Island now. I will be back for tax season. So if you want to see me during that time, but, soon I am going to make it clear that anybody who wants to come see me in Florida, they come visit Amelia Island. It's more than happy to have them down here and they can come visit me in person in Amelia. You don't have to go to Maryland to visit. It might be a long trip, but if you want to, it's a great place to visit.
Yeah, you've got some good places to play golf, don't you?
I got a lot of great places to play golf, but it's a great area for the ocean, for fishing, for restaurants, and you got a lot of great other areas nearby, St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra and so forth. So it's a great area. Anyway, Mikey, that's it. We're finished.
We're finished.
Finished. This is Drew Tignanelli saying God bless.